one of my uncle came to celebrate I was an engineer. He had the very bad idea to say, Patrick, I'm so happy you are an engineer. But really, I thought you would become a doctor, an MD. And then my father said, yes, Patrick, explain to him why you are not an MD. The day of my celebration to become an engineer.
This is the Your Next Success podcast, and I am your host, Dr. Carolyn Sengel. We explore how to build a career that truly fuels your life. And you will hear stories from people who have navigated big career transitions themselves, so you can create a life-first career and become your own version of authentic success. Have you ever hit a goal that you'd been chasing for years and then thought, okay, I made it. Now what? Today's guest knows that feeling well. Patrick Kamba has led global teams in pharma for more than 20 years, from vaccines to a COVID response, and he wrote a book called Quiet Ambition. When he was young, he thought success was money and a title. But when he got the title he was seeking, he started asking a different question. He started asking about how did he actually want to live his days. Let's listen in to our conversation with Patrick Kamba. Patrick Kamba, welcome to Your Next Success. I am looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you, Caroline. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to, by the way.
Awesome. We are going to get to all of the amazing things that you do, including your awesome book, Quiet Ambition, that I had the privilege of reading. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to even more about your fantastic career in leadership, including in the pharmaceutical industry. All of those things will unfold in our conversation. Can you help us understand the very beginning? Where were you born, and what was life like for the very youngest little Patrick?
Actually, my parents were born in the Congo, so the Belgian colony. They moved and left Congo in the 60s because my father wanted to become a doctor, an MD. So he went to France in the 60s, and I was born in the 70s in France. So my father discovered the snow, the cold, and the rest in the 60s and then in the 70s. And then I came. I studied, and until 16 or 17 years old, I was convinced I would do medicine, like the father, of course. And then my heart was beating a bit differently, and I finally decided to become an engineer. And this is where I decided to go to Belgium, not France, because my parents migrated to France. I decided to go to Belgium. Why? I had one of my uncles who became an engineer in Belgium, and the study curriculum was interesting to me, so I decided to go to Belgium, and I studied chemistry. As an engineer, then I was thinking about working in chemical industry, like steel industry, ink, paint, this kind of thing. So this is what I did. And at a certain moment, I had the opportunity to work as a consultant in transportation, as a project manager. And this is the turning point, because around 2008, I had the opportunity to work in a pharma company, GSK, to do project management on vaccines. So moving from the trains to vaccines. That was the big change in my career, and I can say in my life. I really enjoyed it because it was public health, it was taking care of people, and of course, still this mindset of medicine, treatment, caring, health, where I was born into and of course raised in, because my mother was also a nurse. So I had a lot of health and medicine around me. I was almost
Got
surrounded.
you. Your parents, were they married and then they came together?
Yes, they were married in the 60s in France.
And did you have any brothers and sisters also growing up in the same household?
Yeah, one boy, one girl, and then two boys again. And so my eldest brother was born in Congo. And the year after, my father left to study in France, and he had a scholarship to study medicine. So my oldest brother didn't see my father during roughly 1 year. And then he rediscovered his father. And of course, he did not recognize him. What a surprise.
The sacrifices, I think sometimes people in this latest generations, they don't recall, or they're not even aware of the tremendous sacrifice that some parents have made for the betterment of the overall future. Growing up, were there any activities that you loved doing more than others aside from school, right? Obviously, you did very well in
Yes.
school, but when it was just you guys kind of hanging out, what sort of things did you really love doing?
Oh, playing soccer. Very basic, very standard.
Okay. Yeah.
As a man,
Yeah.
young man, let's say, playing soccer with friends during afternoon and afternoon and afternoon. That was
Oh,
really
that's
the
cool.
thing. And of course,
Yeah.
watching football or soccer on TV, I would
Yes.
say, of course, because as a reminder, there was no internet. So we had, previous old school game like Atari and a lot of brands that nobody knows anymore, and
Yes,
Commodore and
yes.
all of this, huh, because of course the young generation don't know. I will not
Yeah.
even talk about smartphone.
Right. There was just the regular phone with the big curly
The
wire.
cable
Yes,
or
yeah, and you'd have to
yes, the
drag it
wire.
all over
Yes,
all over the
yes.
house.
But I already was in love with cooking because I started to cook. I was 5 or 6 years old. It was my second passion, cooking.
Culturally, do a lot of men cook in the Congo,
Yes,
or this was just your mother helping you as well?
I think it's cultural. The legend, in a way, is that if we are sent somewhere far, we need to be able to not die because we are starving. So we need to be able to cook for ourselves. That's basic.
I see. I see. So you started this passion of cooking from a very young age, and your
Yes.
family nurtured that and helped you. What are the favorite sort of things that you enjoy cooking?
So I enjoy actually cooking from a completely different countries. I can do Japanese, I can do Thailand, but I can do France, Italy, Congo, Morocco,
That's awesome.
at least. Maybe others I have forgotten. Yes, Chinese also.
That's amazing. Now, are you the sort of person that when you cook, you follow a recipe exactly? Or are you the sort of person that when you cook, you kind of loosely look at the recipe, but maybe don't measure every single thing out because you understand more about the interactions or the flavor profile? Which style of chef are you?
Let's say my style evolved in the sense that
Okay.
at the beginning I was following recipes to get
Yeah.
the concept, and now I'm more
Yep.
adapting and even from time to time creating. So
Nice.
it's evolving.
Very.
It's about having foundations at first,
Yes.
and then you use it to embrace those foundations and you try and make something new.
Yeah, and it's such a transferable
Yes,
skill. So no wonder that you had this evolving love of cooking. Definitely enjoying time with team interaction kind of things,
yes,
soccer, watching this on the
yes,
TV, enjoying the time with your family. Education obviously was
mhm,
very important in that your father moved to pursue
yes,
education. So growing up in this household was such a wonderful dynamic of
yes.
supporting each other, encouraging each other's growth and passions with the education and all of that. That's amazing. So when it came time in high school for you to decide to even continue on with school, how did you decide where you were going to go and what you were going
Mhm.
to do?
When I was 12 or 13, I was already very clear on where I wanted to go. I was clear. I was
Okay,
really convinced that I would study medicine. I told my parents that I wanted to go to school where I stayed a week and go back home during the weekend. I am the one who asked my parents. They were shocked, by the
okay,
way, but I was very clear on what I wanted. That's why at 12, I said, find a school where I will work.
okay.
Indeed, I was in that school from the Monday to Saturday morning, came back during the weekend during 7 years.
So your middle school, high school kind of years, you were away, almost like boarding
Yes,
school, something of that sort.
yes, yes, exactly. Yes.
Ah, and you chose that because you
I
wanted to
wanted to
focus on
succeed.
your study, then come enjoy?
Yes.
Or
Yes, yes, and it's because
ah,
also my oldest brother and sister were not so much performing at school, and I didn't want to follow this path. It has influenced me. Like, this is not the kind of life I want because there was some tension, as you can imagine, when kids are not
yeah,
performing at school. Let's say parents are a bit tensed, and
right,
it influenced me.
right.
I said, I don't want to follow this path. That's why I want to stay away from all of this
I
pressure,
see.
tension, in a way, isolate to focus on my goals.
And your parents, because you came with that idea, that desire,
they wanted to support you and your learning.
Yes.
And plus, by that time, they probably realized, oh, this young child, anything he says he wants to do, he studies, he does it, he tries
Yes.
it. So let's see how it goes.
Yes.
Gave
Yes.
you some space to not have to be in the day-to-day, did you get this done? How's this going? But
Exactly.
more on your
Yeah.
own. Interesting. Okay. And
But
so
there is a dark
then
side.
what is the dark side?
Pressure, of course, because now everybody is looking at me. Everybody
Uh-huh.
has hope and expectation on me only. Like, please,
Uh-huh.
Patrick, do something different. Do better than your brother and sisters. And then you start.
Uh-huh.
When friends are visiting, oh, that's great. Patrick is performing so well at school. I'm sure he will do this. He's the hope for the family. And then you start to
Yeah.
manage pressure. Hopefully, I was
Got you.
far at school, but still, during the weekend, this is Patrick, the guy who is doing so well at high school, the guy who will do and be our future MD in the family, the next generation. Let's be clear,
Aha.
that's another part of the story.
So you welcome this ability to be a little bit on your own. You want this desire to focus on your studies. And now, not only do you have your own expectations to want to be different than those who came
Yes.
before you with your siblings, but now you're feeling it even more so of like, it's all on you, Patrick. You're the
Yes.
one we're counting on to do well.
Yes. And he stayed a long time, believe me, but we'll have the opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, and then
It lasted a
how
long
did
time.
you work through that or not it's so hard because you're just developing your sense of self
Yes.
and this now gets a little bit intertwined. How did you try to keep your sanity and keep
Mhm.
your ability to just have learning be fun, or was it not fun for a while?
It was fun because at the end of the day, it was my goal, my ambition, really. But indeed, when my marks, my grades were a bit below expectation, my parents were very disappointed. They told me that, okay, they were expecting more, they are disappointed. And it was hard weekend, but don't forget there was no smartphone. So the pressure was only on the weekend. That's the bright side. Today it would be different because you may have short messages from your parents during the week
Yeah.
with pressure.
Yep.
Now it's different. I
Yep.
mean, at that moment it was different. I only had them during the weekend, so I had the full week in a way to be energized, and at the end be on the same boat with other kids because I was not the only one who was ambitious, who wanted to move forward. Some of us all together on the same boat, but then in the weekend we had some, from time to time, some pressure. But I never lost my compass in the sense that I wanted to succeed. I believed a
Mm.
lot in me, even if, I mean, as an adolescent, it was not always easy.
What did you learn from that time? Like, as your grades were maybe not up to expectations, did you take that as, oh, let me see, how am I spending my time? What am I doing? Like, was it that the material was challenging and you needed help to understand? Or were
Mm.
you maybe not managing your time as well as could be? Like, what were the lessons
Mhm.
that you took from that realization? Or
Yeah.
was the grade for your expectations, it was fine, it just wasn't fine for your parents' expectations?
Ah, no, it was not fine for me, but it was really hard for me. And I would have
Mm.
loved at that time to get more, let's say, emotional support from my parents because it was hard. I mean, at the end, I was between 12 and 17, 18 in
Yeah.
school, like 50 miles from home and coming back only during the weekend. The main lesson for me was never give up. Never give
Mm.
up. Even if the grades are not saying that you're working hard, you know you're working hard and keep on pushing. Don't give up. That's really the point. And at certain moment, yes, I asked for further help. I got it. And at certain moment, something switched on. And I felt inside actually that I was, let's say, managing and handling some courses differently. And then I was really skyrocketing in my head, not yet in the grades, but I felt that something was happening. So my message is don't give up, but ask for help. And this is
Yes.
where it was really the first turning point, let's say. Somebody helped me one
Yes.
afternoon to give me the confidence, the self-esteem, on maths, on the way of reasoning. He was saying, but you see, you can do this. You don't need me anymore. I can go. And then I felt, yes, maybe I can. It was 2 or 3 hours of maths. It changed everything. Then I studied physics. Then I decided to go to Belgium, become an engineer. And I did 2 masters in engineering. I have two.
Wow. Okay, so this high school experience turns out to be good. You end up then going to university, studying
Yes.
engineering in undergrad as well?
A bit hard to explain for US compared to, let's say, France, Belgium, but in a summary, you have two kind of engineer in Belgium. One is more in kind of college, another one is more university. One is 4 years, the other one is 5 years. So I did both, actually.
Okay. For the undergrad, you did a 4-year and a
Yes.
5-year, and then you went to masters and got 2 masters as well?
Let's say I did the undergrad 4 years, and then I went to the master 5 years. But I did not do 4 plus 5. I did 4, and then only 2. There was an option to start at the end of the second curriculum, actually.
Okay, so this period of the next 5-ish years, you end up getting multiple degrees, master's degrees. And by this time, you decided medicine is not for me?
Or actually, before, I mean, at the end of high school, I decided that medicine was not for me. I can tell you it was a huge disappointment, but I only understood this high disappointment when I was graduated with my second degree as an engineer. That is where I discovered that it was so huge a disappointment. What do I mean here? One of my uncle came to celebrate I was an engineer. He had the very bad idea to say, "Ah, Patrick, I'm so happy you are an engineer. But really, I thought you would become a doctor, an MD." And then my father said, "Yes, Patrick, explain to him why you are not an MD." The day of my celebration to become an engineer. That day I discovered and realized that it was such a disappointment. So it was a bit
And what did you
bitter that
say?
day.
Right, but what did you say? Because now
I was shocked.
this
I was
well, and this
speechless.
shift happened in you, right? So this shift of realizing I don't think medicine is my path,
Yes.
my calling of what I want to do, what I'm
Hmm.
suited for. Therefore, let me pivot. Let me focus
Yes.
on more of this engineering and some of the
Yes.
chemistry, physics, those kind of things, because
Yes.
you're following your passion
Yes.
and you're thinking, I'm following my passion. Shouldn't my parents be excited? I'm doing something amazing that I feel very
Yes.
called for.
I mean,
And then you
engineer.
realize it's amazing, right?
I was shocked. That is as simple as that. I mean, can you imagine you are celebrating something and somebody is saying, "No, but in a way you failed." What can you say? What can you do?
But
Nothing.
only from family. Only
Of
from
course. Of
family,
course.
right?
Of course.
Right? Oh. And it's
Yes.
like on one hand, they love you so, so much. On the other hand, how did our dreams and goals and desires and greater
Yes.
purpose, how did it become their focus?
Yes. Yes. And this is where you understand that actually the real story of their support was because they were thinking I would do medicine. So it was
Well,
also
I'm
their
sure
plan.
very interesting,
Yes.
right? This like double-handed
Yes.
love and support, and yet slightly conditional because they have their own
Yes.
vision, their own desire of what you're going to do with your life. And then here
Hmm.
you're following your own passion, but somehow
Yes.
like how in this okay, but yeah. All right. So I hope maybe let's see how this resolves or maybe doesn't, because your impact that you end up having
Yes.
really, really does so much for not just individual health, but many, many more impacted from the things that you do. Okay, so first you go in for transportation related. What did you learn from that period of time? Like once you actually start going and being more involved in the corporations, what are some of the things that stood out to you
Hmm.
as interesting things you weren't trained for, or interesting
Yeah.
things that you realized, here's where I can make my path?
So first is people management and interaction with people in general. I discovered that I have really great listening skills. I like to interact with people, talking to them, hear about their career, discuss about career. That's really my passion. That's number one. Second is project management. As an engineer,
Mm.
framework, discipline, planning,
Yes.
anticipating,
Yeah.
solving issues, managing risk.
Yeah.
That is really another thing that I like. These are the main two things. And then maybe more generally, I'm curious. I always ask
Mm.
questions. I want to know more. I want to understand. These are the things I discovered in corporation, and also the fact that you always have somebody who has the answer.
The who, not how, right? Who do you know
Yes,
that could help you? Not
yes,
having to think that you have to be the one to know how to do all of the things
yes,
all by
yes,
yourself. Yes, yes, this
yes,
idea of collaboration. And I think maybe in some ways, some of these seeds of that were also prevalent in your high school years when you realized it's okay to
yes,
ask for help,
yes,
when you had to structure your time and effort a little bit
yes,
differently,
yes.
making these frameworks. So then this in industry then starts to become a natural extension of the things you had
Yeah.
already started. But did you become project management certified, those
Yes,
sorts of
yes,
things?
I did.
Yeah.
When I joined
Uh-huh.
GSK, so after my mission as a consultant in transportation, I went to GSK as a consultant, and I had the opportunity to be trained and be certified in project management. And what that was really the moment where I, in a way, discovered my passion for project management. I'm passionate by project management. Yes, really, I love it.
Yes, that's amazing. Okay, so now you're at GSK, one a
Yes,
very world-renowned institution. You get to learn from
yes,
so many great people and the systems and the
yes.
things that they had in place and learning about project management. How did that impact your family's thoughts about the work you
Oh,
were doing?
I was God on earth. Yes, of course. My father was so proud. Oh, my son is working on vaccine. We can discuss immunology. We have new conversation. He was so proud. And my mother, of course. And then it was done because I was in the pharma, vaccine, medicine industry in general. I was not
Yeah,
an MD. They did not care anymore because I was
yeah.
working on vaccine.
So you had to go beyond the disappointment and allow them to realize later, yes, yes, you
Yes.
are in fact the
Yes.
son they can be proud of because of your
Yes.
greatest impact now with vaccines. Now, what were
Yes.
some of the vaccines that you worked with?
I work on several. So, human papillomavirus, HPV. I worked on some adjuvants. I worked on some otitis media, acute otitis media. Yes, I've been very busy, and the fact that I worked on so many completely different vaccines
Yes.
reinforced this pride of my parents, of course.
How about your uncle?
Well, my uncle, who let's say coached me and supported me to study engineer, he was very proud that I was graduated as an engineer like him. That was great. And I had another uncle who also wanted to study engineer, was very happy, whatever the industry. They were the two who were supporting me in my studies and
Got
trying
you.
to challenge my parents to ensure
Yeah,
I could study and become an engineer. So anything I did as a work, as long as I was happy, as I was an engineer, they were fine.
got you. So as time went on, the parents and the greater family all realized your and celebrated you and your
Yes.
success and the work that you were able to do. So then what happened? So you were at GSK for quite some time and
Yes.
then
Yes.
moved to something else. What was that story?
Yes. So at a certain moment, I had the opportunity to lead a team of project managers, and I became a director at GSK.
Mm.
And that was also God of God for my parents because it was the first time in generation. Because don't forget that they come from Congo in the 60s. To put the things in the
Mm.
context, having director as a next generation in a big company like GSK, that was even science fiction for them because I mean, they were so happy to be able to study, become a nurse, become a doctor, and one of their kids, the next generation, is director. That's a wow. So they were so happy and so proud because they felt that next generation had an impact, let's say, in health in general, but in corporation and of course big title.
Help everyone understand when you say
Yes.
Congo in the 60s, there's a whole lot of people, probably myself included, that is like, okay,
Yeah.
Congo in the 60s. What? But what was it
Okay.
like in the Congo in the 60s? And so then how was this
Mhm.
progression of not only your father and mother's career, but now your
Yes.
career and the opportunities you had in a different part of the world? Explain that a
Yes.
little bit further, because I don't know that everyone understands
Mhm.
Congo in the 60s. Yeah.
So in the 60s, Congo, named Zaire at that moment, was a Belgian colony. So
Mm.
in the 60s, you had a process of decolonization, meaning that Zaire, Congo, became independent in the middle of the 60s. But my father knew some refugees camp because this decolonization did not happen smoothly and so calmly. That's one. And at the end of the day, my parents, when they moved to France, there were not so many black people over there. They discovered the snow, my parents, yes, but all the rest, racism. There were not so many black people in the 60s. And if you think about me when I was studying in high school from 12 to 18, in this school, 50 miles far from home, I was the only black during 7 years.
Were people kind and accepting, or were they unkind and fearful?
Generally kind and accepting, but a few, not at all. A few, I would say only a few. It's a few percentage, so very limited. But I had been exposed to this. It was my day to day from Monday to Friday again.
Oh, so now you're proving yourself regardless the day of the week. You just,
Yes.
just depending on the audience. So hopefully, and sounds like you found a core group of
Yes,
friends who
exactly.
were welcoming and encouraging and supportive, but yet there were occasionally these ones that doesn't matter what you did,
Yes.
just because who you are or what you look like, they've made some sort of
Yes.
assumption and are going to
Yes.
treat you differently and meanly, and
Yes.
without seeing the beauty of the
Yes.
diversity of each individual person, regardless where they are, who they
Yes.
are. We all have a unique
Yes.
wonderfulness about us.
And so in the 70s, my father, being an MD, was helping a woman delivering baby. So he was doing a gynecology obstetrician, was doing
Yep.
this. But again, he was the only black surgeon in this hospital at that moment. He was alone in the 70s because my parents were living in a small city in the northeast of France. It was not in Paris. It was not in big cities. It was really, let's say, 20,000 people in this city. So very small. He was the first. And in terms of community, he knew 2 or 3 doctors. They were in Germany. They studied medicine in Germany, Congolese also. So they were
Wow.
isolated. This is where I would say my parents are coming from. And this is the story I had to live when I was young. It helped to build, let's say, my personality and the fact that I don't give up easily. I'm very resilient because I have to.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. It's so interesting. Okay. Wow. So you've now had reached up to director level at GSK,
Yes.
and then why did you leave there, and what did you go to do next?
So I left basically to be close to my family, my kids, and stop, commute and go to the office. And also because I was not seeing so many opportunities to keep on growing this company. So I made, let's say, a bet on working in a small biotech 20 minutes far from home instead of, let's say, 50 minutes. Then
Ah.
COVID hit.
I see. Okay, but before the COVID hits, so you realize that although you're successful, very
Yes.
successful, you also realize that the greater life you wanted to live wasn't just being successful at work, but the children that
Yes.
you had been blessed with, you wanted to have more time to be
Yes.
involved, integrally closer, available for them.
Yes.
And so you chose your
Yes.
holistic satisfaction over some title or over some. Now that is something that I love and aspire to. And this questioning, can you take us into the moment of
Yes.
when this questioning started to happen for you? Because this is the thing many people do not talk about. Like, you
Yes.
end up having this successful career, you have this great salary, you have this thing, and it's like, so many people would love to be in that position.
Yes. Yes.
And yet, this thinking of, I'm not sure this is what I truly want and what is the best for
Yes.
me in this moment. Take us to those times.
Yes.
What were these
The
thoughts and what
drivers.
were the feelings? Yes, yes. Yeah.
Imagine what your life would be like if your career aligned with who you are, what you do best, and actually fueled the life you want. At Next Success, we support all ages and stages through career transitions, from students exploring majors or careers to job seekers actively searching or reimagining their next move to professionals committed to self-awareness and leadership growth. Stay connected and explore what's possible at nextsuccesscareers.com and follow Next Success Method on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
So it's about quality of life in general. Because as you know, I like to cook. But if I'm tired, I'm running. Every morning
Yeah.
I have to bring kids to school, rush and commute to the office, work, and then have to leave early to be sure I can pick up my kids. Where do you
Yeah.
enjoy cooking with your kids?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing, even if, of course, you have the title and all of this. So,
Yeah.
my, let's say, strategy was to look calmly for an opportunity around my place. Also, because my scope of work was a bit shrinking already. No change of title, no change of salary, no problem, but it was shrinking. So it means maybe I will stop growing. I will have less opportunities to grow because the company organization is evolving. What was fine. And I said, maybe it's just the right moment to do something else. That's why I
Interesting.
decided to go in a way, not to lose money or earn less, but something comparable. Plus quality of life, because imagine you drive 15 minutes when
Yeah.
it's free, or I mean, when there is not so much traffic jam, and 20 minutes when there is a problem. I mean, you
Yeah.
wake up, bring kids,
Yeah.
just go, you're arrived.
Yeah.
And really, it's a luxury. Working less than 30 minutes from your home is a luxury. Because at the end,
Definitely.
driving 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, morning, evening, multiply even 1 year, 10 years,
Yeah.
you lose so much time.
Absolutely. Now, what was your wife's career?
At that moment, I was already divorced, actually. That's why it was also
Okay.
making things even more complicated.
More.
But on the
Yeah.
opposite, stepping back and thinking about what future do you want for your kids? Do you want to be
Yes.
there and have some moments? Because if we step back, my father an MD, my mother a nurse, they were not so much available for me. So
Right.
it drove me to some considerations. What time,
I
what quality
see.
of time do you want to have with your kids? It has influenced me, of course. That's why I was feeling that the week I have my kids, I need more or less to be there and not only cook with them during the weekend because I will be exhausted. I want to be able to
Right.
do things during the week, improvise, I don't know what. And
Yeah.
that has been one element, one parameter for my decision.
That's beautiful that you recognize that this time of their life and you wanted to be able to do all
Yes,
you could in
yes,
those weeks that you had them to be more completely available. And yeah, getting nearly 3 hours back of not
yes,
commuting, but in being able to have with that. So helping your time, your effort, your energy,
yes.
all of those things.
I
Huh.
was nice. I was smiling. I was less stressed. Really,
That's the thing too.
people really underestimate the power of going to work, let's say 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or even less. Being close to
Yes,
the place you are working, it's a luxury. It's you don't have the stress of traffic jam. You know
that's
you will
right.
always arrive on time. You don't rush your
Yeah,
kids in the morning. You know, for
that's right.
5 minutes, we don't care. And kids feel
That's
it.
for sure. That is such a yes, this ability to have something close by that provides enough of an income for your quality of
Yes.
life and yet not chasing possibly a little bit higher pay that comes at a larger sacrifice of time that you
And
could
that's the
spend
point.
with them. Hmm.
I put a boundary, a limit in terms of, let's say, sacrifice. I prefer to talk about price to pay.
Yeah.
There's a limit. And I mean,
Yes.
everybody has a limit. And mine was there because as a young graduate, my target was to be a director one day in a company. So
Yeah.
once I reached this part, I said, from now, I want also to balance more with a better quality of life. And even if now I'm much beyond this title, things have changed.
So then COVID happens, and then what happens?
Yes. Oh, I was fired in 40 minutes.
What? Okay. Say what? Okay,
You
what?
asked me
Yeah, yeah.
what happened
So
with
you
COVID.
left GSK, this stable thing, to
Yes.
move closer to home, taking a
Yes.
chance on a startup. It's for a little bit of time, it's like, aha, this is great. It's this 15, 20-minute
Yes.
drive. I'm here with my kids. And then this,
COVID
what
hit.
I was fired at
We
for,
had
what?
lockdown.
Tell us.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had, lockdown, like in a lot of
Yeah.
countries in the world. And so the plant was running slowly. And I was never called back to help because they have other people to manage specific activities. And when I came back on the Monday, I was with HR and the plant manager. And in 40 minutes, I was out because they told me that they did not need my competencies.
And so when was this?
I think it was less than 1 year later, or 1 year and a half. I joined this company in September 2019 and I left, summer 20. I left. I've been helped to leave less than 1 year.
Oh, that's a bummer. So then was there even
Mhm.
any severance pay or anything of that? Or just like, thank you, bye?
Oh, in Belgium, I had 6 weeks.
Okay, better than nothing. But still,
Yes,
now it's
it's a
2020,
shock.
and this probably was never
No.
in your thoughts. Like you could
Ah,
choose
no.
to leave somewhere, but you're never
Yes,
was it your thoughts that somebody would say
yes,
you're no longer needed.
yes. Not like this.
See, this is the thing. In the moment when it's like by choice or by
Yeah,
force, we have these transitions. In
yes,
the moment, it seems like, but a by force in the moment doesn't seem good
yes.
in that
No,
immediate moment.
no.
Later, you can look with the wisdom of like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, I'm so glad that happened for me. But in
But
the
a few
moment,
months,
I'm sure you were like, what?
it was a shock.
Me?
It was a shock. Unexpected.
Ah,
But a few months later, I was already feeling it was good. Because,
okay.
remember the
Yes.
story? I'm the guy who will ask for help when needed. This is what I did. I asked for help. And I had a few people who were really game changer. So I called 2 or 3 people. They told me, Patrick, you should be freelance and start your own business. Of course, deny, afraid, scared, petrified, terrified, and all the things you can imagine. Because I was not sure I could do it, and I don't know what skills do I have at the end, even if I am project manager. And I
Yeah.
spent an afternoon talking to a friend that I called the professor, like Casa de Papel, because he was
Yeah.
a consultant, freelance project manager in IT. And he explained me during one afternoon what are the things to be aware of when you want to start your own business. And then I activated my network. Again, networking, all the seeds I put in the soil during 10 years, in 1 month, they gave me back. And they sent recommendation for me to Johnson & Johnson, who was working on the COVID vaccine. And I started as a freelance. Actually, I started my mission before having done my paperwork to be a freelance.
This is the kicker, everyone. You
Yes.
had built your network very intentionally before you needed it, just
Yes.
because it was the right thing to do. And part of your care of people and your celebration of the beauty of many,
Yes.
many different people, you had connected and made a network that was available. And you were helping others in that network.
Yes, of
Now
course.
comes the time you needed help, and you were
Yes.
able to then go ask these people that you'd already built relationships
Yes.
for years, if not decades.
Yes.
And then they were able to connect you to opportunities. You then started working at J&J
Yes.
and doing work. And was it on the COVID vaccine
Yes.
that your
Itself.
work was
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Ah, interesting. Interesting. Okay. And then what happened?
And then after 1 year, my mission was ending. And I heard about opportunities at PPD, my current employer. And again, I talked to some people because I knew that maybe a position was open. And I applied and I had my interview. It was successful and I've been selected. Like
Mm.
I was ending my mission in August
Yeah.
21. I started at PPD in September.
Oh, wow. See, so it aligned
Unexpected.
so nicely again
Yes.
from
Again.
utilizing your network when it was
Yes.
most important for you. Okay. And so, how did this idea of writing a book come along?
That's a funny story. It happened like 10 years ago. I was discussing with two friends that I wanted to do more speaking engagement, conferences, because I wanted to be a speaker. Both of
Yeah.
them told me you should write a book. Come on, a book, not for me. I don't know what I would write. Leave me alone.
Mm.
During years, they told me you should write a book. No, leave me alone. Come on. Then a third, a fourth person who don't know each other told me, Patrick, you should write a book. Then I paused because I remember a lesson. When 3 or 4 people who don't know each other give you the same feedback, maybe you should listen.
Yes.
So I listened and I started to write a book. It's called, in English, Quiet Ambition. In French, it's more The Secret of Ambition or The Secret Source of Ambition. I'm trying to translate. But original title, that's the most funny part. That's me. It was, ah, Keep Your Ambition for Yourself. We are far, but
Yeah.
not so far. Because when I worked with my agency, they said, yeah, but what do you mean? Could be a kind of double sword or double meaning.
Yeah.
I said, yes, not keep it for yourself because you are not interested. No, my point was keep it for yourself because you need to protect it, because some
Yeah.
people might be jealous and put some obstacles on your way. That's why it became Le Secret de l'Ambition, The Secret of Ambition, in a way, or Quiet Ambition. So, not too much noise,
Yeah.
focus on what you want to do, move forward, like the young Patrick who was deciding to study 1 week in school and coming back in the weekend. Because by doing
Yeah.
this, I'm below the radar. People don't look at me too much. And yeah, Patrick is studying somewhere. That's it. I don't have the everyday pressure. And then things become visible when I'm finished with school. And then I can go to university. Compared to how did it happen last week? What do you do today? Where are you with masses, physics, chemistry? What are you studying? What do you want to do tomorrow? Nobody is asking you this because you are isolated somewhere. And that's the
I
philosophy of
see.
quiet ambition. You share only with the few people that you trust. You're not
Yeah.
running the show. You're not on stage showing that you are the best and etc. You move with your aspirations, your targets, slowly, quietly, but efficiently.
Yes, I really like that, and it's a different twist, right? Here's the thing, you have your goals, you have your dreams and all of that, and on one hand you hear, well, you need to tell somebody so then it becomes real. And you're saying
Yes.
yes, tell somebody, but make sure it's a trusted, supportive person who's your champion, not some
Yes.
of these greater naysayers that the vision wasn't given to them, so therefore they're going to be judging and looking for your every mistake and chastising you for that. You're saying,
Mm.
yes, have an ambition, be a little bit quiet and selective of to who you let in
Yes.
to knowing your ambition. You definitely have to ask for help. You have to have this supportive network around you. And you also have to realize, this is one of the things coming through in your book, you have to realize that every journey is going to have, things that are propelling you forward, and sometimes it's a step
Yes.
back, a forward, back, forward,
Yes.
back. And when the back happens, realize that's not just an overall failure, it's something to learn from and
Yes.
to rededicate, recommit yourself to your quiet ambition
Yes.
and keep on moving forward and keep asking and going. I really, really liked that. And it's something that I hadn't considered, honestly,
Mhm.
right? How to be, being a little bit selective about who you're telling and
Selective.
what you're telling is helpful, very helpful.
Some people who have reviewed work with me to name the chapters, even name the title of the book. Okay,
Yeah.
so even
Yeah.
if I can say, okay, I wrote a book, I published, but there are some people at certain moment they helped me, they reviewed, they proposed, and I listened to a lot of them. And that's why, even if it's Patrick Kamba in a way for this book, there are several people who have contributed, but not because they ask me to contribute, but because I ask them. And that's the difference. You know, when you are on a big project, you may see
Yes.
people proposing their help just because they want to be associated to your success. And here,
Yeah.
that's not the case. I had some people who proposed. I said, no, thank you. Because the moment they proposed to me, I would say, no, it has to come from me. Because I know you enough. If I want your help, I will come to you. There's no need to tell me that you're available to help me. I know.
And yet aligning yourself with the ones that you selected, because sometimes people have a little ulterior motive too. Like they'll say, oh, I want to help you, Patrick, but really they
Yes.
may be helping themselves.
That's the point. That's why I never accept people who propose me to help me.
You want it to be your direction, your allowing someone in type of thing. Although when people approach you and ask for your help, is it the same discernment or
Yes,
not?
when people ask me,
Yeah.
then I will go and help them. I will not often decide alone to go to them and ask. And that's why some people may tell me, you are not a seller. I'm not.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not.
And yet, even without being a seller, you have helped more than 50, probably closer
Yes.
to 100 people in their own
Yes.
careers, mentored so many. And interestingly, the type of people you have helped with their careers, many of them have been women. Tell a little bit
Yes.
about that. Yeah,
That's my real passion, I would say my ultimate goal, contributing to women being paid at their real value. That's very
that's amazing.
ambitious. This one, it's a big one. Working on it almost every day with 3 daughters, by the way. But also, I'm always part of, let's say, woman leader network
Yeah,
everywhere I have worked for. So GSK, PPD today, and now even Thermo Fisher, that is the bigger entity. That's where
yeah,
I am. So my passion is coming from my mother, of course, because she decided to become a nurse. She was 40 years old, and my father supported her. She was so happy and she loved it. And I saw, of course,
yeah.
the difference of having a woman being able to fulfill her dreams. I see this power. So here I'm trying to
And
give back to women.
how old are your daughters now?
16, 10, and 8.
Oh, nice, nice. Right in the thick of it. That's amazing. And so, and part of your desire was driven by your mother, and also this desire of you're trying to be that helpful
Yes.
advocate for others and and hoping the same that your daughters, whatever their opportunity that they'd like to do,
Mhm.
whatever their dream that they want to fulfill, that it is indeed possible, and yet
Yes.
providing help where needed for people to kind of make the way, show the space
Yes.
for others. That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Okay. So now you have, this great career, and you've also have this book, and you had this desire to be doing more speaking.
Yes.
How is that evolving? Is this your side gig or your side hustle, people say? This kind
Yes,
of,
it's a side gig, but that is still growing, of course. Last year I
yeah,
was in Miami for a women leadership event in September, and I made a speech on how to be heard and listened without the noise. It was mainly for
mm,
women leaders. Today, it's keep on growing this area. I mean, meaning more speaking engagement. And as I'm a project manager in pharma industry, every time I can, I will attend a conference as a speaker or panelist on the project
yeah,
management in pharma in general. So I'm back from London. I was there 2 weeks ago. I love it. And here
yeah.
I'm available for any speaking engagement on leadership, strategy, and execution, the gaps between the beautiful strategy and corporate goals and the execution in the field. These are
Oh,
topics
I
that
love
I
it.
like to do, and that is explained on my website, for example. Yeah.
These people who've gotten help regarding their careers, has that been within the companies that you've worked for, or do you help people also? Like, let's say there was somebody in a pharma related career, they're looking for that kind of interest and advice. Do you also work one-on-one with people, of coaching, or how
Yes.
is that?
coaching, mentoring is my passion. I can do anywhere, everywhere. So
Awesome.
I do partially with PPD. I did it also with PMI, Project Management Institute. A few years ago, I
Yeah.
was part of a mentoring program in Belgium. And I also do it, if you connect with me via my website, I can also do one-to-one. So I can do it everywhere. It's hard for me
Oh,
to
that's
say no,
amazing.
actually. That's my challenge.
That's so amazing. Now, I'm curious, I forgot to ask you from
Yeah.
if you could recall back to your very youngest years, maybe even that when you went to high school and all that, what did you think success was then? Like, what did you think it meant to be a successful adult and successful person? And then we're going to then fast forward
Yes.
to now. But like in that time, what did you think it was from that young viewpoint of what it was for success?
Money and title. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I will not
Yeah.
pretend the opposite. I was 18, 20, roughly. Yes. Title and
Yeah.
money. But when I evolved and I reached this director milestone,
Yeah.
I said, it's over. I was not planning or targeting to be vice president or CEO or whatever, because my objective was director. So in
Yeah.
a way, still humble with my ego thing. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
target to be a director is still ego. Let's be clear. That was my ego, but not beyond. And I decided there was also a flip in my mindset, my head. When I became a director, I said, "That's it. I made it. Now I will enjoy and do whatever I want." And that's why now I can mentor and coach anytime. I go to conference and congresses. I'm making jokes, even if I am chairman of a 2 days congress. People laugh, I
Yeah.
make people comfortable, and we are enjoying sharing moments because my main objective is done. Doesn't mean that I'm not motivated to do anything anymore, because as you can see, I wrote a book.
Yeah.
I'm executive director now. Until last year, I had more than 300 people reporting to me. I review high valued budget with my company, but still I'm relaxed. I'm smiling, but I also stay grounded and put myself in challenge, like doing podcasts, for example, because I never know what question can be asked. It allows me to
Yeah.
stay humble also. That's important.
So how do people find you? How do people work with you?
So very simple. They can connect to me via LinkedIn. They can find me easily, Patrick Kamba, or they can visit my website, 3xw.patrickkamba.com.
Love it, love it. And now from this vantage point, because you've had a lot of revelations, growth in your own self and how you manage your life holistically to be having this joy and all that. But how would you define like authentic success for you in this moment? How do you define this is what it is to be authentically successful?
Me is being happy, being free. And when I say being free, is being free to do whatever I want when I want. 3 weeks ago, I was in New York. I wanted to spend 5 days. I've been 5 years without going to New York. I had to go back. I decided to go back. In February, I flew to Singapore with my 3 daughters. And guess what? With the daughter of one of my best friends.
Wow.
I wanted to do it.
Wow.
And I already announced that 2 years later, we'll go to Hong Kong. I'm not sure the parents are ready mentally, but okay, that's another story.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so doing what you want, with who you want, when you want, having that flexibility,
Yes.
and taking the opportunities as they come. So
Yes, and
beautiful.
also being able to enjoy basic things like this weekend, I cooked with my kids and we did nouilles sauté noodles, different recipes. We were all doing our own things. That is also life. Spending time with your
Love
kids,
it.
improvise. Okay, let's go and cook. Okay, that's it. Because at the end of the day, if you're successful but you have nobody to share with, what's the purpose?
So, so beautiful. Thank you, Patrick, so much for telling more about your story for this journey. I know that the listeners are going to absolutely love this one and have so much value. So, thank you so much for being on Your Next Success.
Thank you, Caroline. It was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Your Next Success with Dr. Carolyn Sengel. Remember, authentic success is yours to define and includes aligning your career to support the life you want.